Hello, Mohammed. How are you?
Hi, folks.
Hi, everyone.
Does anyone know how the Zoom LFX platform is being configured? Because it looks like it might be using a time zone. Because it's working for me, but not for everyone.
Oh.
As in, what do you mean by that?
I think Mohammed was saying that it was showing him 1 hour earlier.
Yeah, it may not be considering the daylight savings. So it just goes with GMT time plus or the UTC time plus 5.5 hours.
Oh,
Yeah, because we selected that as the base. So if there is a time zone variation, that is probably not, sorry, not time zone, I mean daylight savings. Not sure if that is getting or taken into account. I mean, is that the concern, or what exactly is the issue here?
yeah, because it was showing him 1 hour ago that this meeting was 1 hour ago.
Okay, that should ideally not happen because regardless of what's the time zone, it should just pop up at the right time, correct?
Yep.
Or was he looking at the other meeting?
I want to mention that it happens when I import it into my Google Calendar. It is showing the correct time in the LFX website itself.
Oh, okay. How are you adding it to your Google Calendar? Are you registering?
Yeah, it has a link that downloads the file, so I imported the file into my Google Calendar. I have tried using my phone or my laptop, both of them are importing correct wrong times.
Oh, is it this iCal calendar.ics file?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. All right. Maybe it's the time there. Have you tried registering instead? I think you can click register as well. And then I think you get an invite via email.
I haven't. I will try it. Not an important
Yeah.
concern, but yeah.
Hmm. All right. So I think it's 5 minutes past. Should we wait a little longer or should we get started?
We can get started.
So I don't think we have any agenda today. I do have something that I want to discuss, so maybe I'll just ask around. Was there an agenda for today, or should I go ahead?
Yeah, nothing else. I think. Yeah.
So we could show up the roadmap tracker sheet once, or the roadmap tracker GitHub project, since we closed the 4.3 milestone, and we can show the progress on the 4.4 items once.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, let me share my screen. In that case, right. Okay, is my browser visible with the project tracking sheet?
Yes, I can see it.
All right. Yeah, so we just did an auditing in the last week on the 4.2 and 4.3 items, just to see what were the status of some of the pending ones. And I think most of the items were marked as completed, and the ones that were not closed or completed, they were moved to the subsequent release, that is the OpenEBS 4.4. So as we all know that OpenEBS is an umbrella project having various engines or sub-projects within itself. So we have the local PV host path. Somehow the version of local PV host path always matches the current umbrella version. Not necessarily that will always be the case moving forward. But as you can see, there are around 5 items or 5 issues that are being tracked as a part of the 4.4 host path. Then there is the LVM subproject or LVM local PV engine, where there are a few more items, around 8 of them. The version of LVM will be v1.8. And we have the local PV ZFS. Currently, there's only one issue that is like kind of an enhancement, where we need to do some bit of refactoring to have better logging and better error applications. And then we have the Maya store, the replicated PV. There's been good amount of progress, as we can see here. There are a couple of OEPs which are being tracked. One was for the pools, coordinating the milestone pools, and the disk pool expansion. Currently, it's not being marked as an OEP. Maybe something to consider. That is the line item 1631 or line item 16. The issue ID is 1631. And of late, we also found some interest in one external contributors. They wanted to work on having a aggregated disk pool using the SPDK's frameworks. We'll have to work with them and figure out what's their proposed design or proposed approach. Yeah, this is the tracker for 4.4. At the moment, I think we are looking at somewhere towards the end of October as the release for the umbrella 4.4. That should include all these various version updates for the individual engines. And I believe Tiago and Mohammed can add to it. We could also be thinking of um, adding local PB raw file or making it as a integral part or as a first class citizen of OpenEBS helm chart with the 4.4 release. Yeah, that's it about the roadmap tracking. Any questions by anyone on this?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, we also had a roadmap for the raw file.
Let me check that
So I
project
guess
as
now
well.
we can start to combine them.
Okay. Yeah, that looks too good because
One
every
thing
item is
still
marked as
missing,
done.
some
Documentation.
documentation. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think, yes, we need the docs on the OpenEBS IO as well. Yeah.
We could target it right for 4.4. I mean, I think
Yes.
we can
Yes,
get
we could.
started on that. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
a good conclusion to this uh, first Rafael project tracker.
Yep.
Okay. Great work, by the way, Tiago and Mohammed. I think you guys really went out of your way to get this thing uh, sorted out. It was probably not in a great shape earlier as we started 6 months back, but now it looks really good. Okay. I will unshare my screen. And, maybe Diego, Mohammed, if you guys can give a quick update of all the changes that have gone in, right, for the benefit of the larger audience, that will be good on the raw file.
What else? I think if someone can share their screen again, and then just open the raw file repo, we have a change log.
Okay, let me check.
And there should be a file there, change log. No, change log file. Right, and then if you scroll down, yeah, there we go. So we started tracking all the changes to the project using a change log. And I think this is also something that we have some of it on some of the local engines. We don't have it on MayaStar, but I think probably we should because it makes it very easy to, whenever a new version is released, to kind of go through the change log, see if there's something that might apply to your existing problems, for example, or if you have a need for a new feature. I think it's good. And we also have an upgrade guide, which I think that one is on a separate document. It's on docs, I believe, where we also cover installing and upgrading, and also specifically when there's breaking changes, how could you resolve that? So for example, here, upgrading to that version, we introduced a few breaking changes, and we have here, what should you do? So I think this is quite important on starting to as we start to recommend raw file to folks to use. I think having these things will help. And going back to your original question, Vishnu, if we go back to changelog, so on the latest version, we had quite a few things actually. We have a new logging system that is really nice for tracing and debugging any issues on the cluster. So some of you might remember from the previous version, there's absolutely no logging at all. And that was very difficult to spot any issues because, you didn't have any clue what was going on. So now there's plenty of logging, maybe in some cases a bit too much logging for some of the CSI calls, but at least now we have a full picture of what's going on. We've serialized some of the CSI operations as they weren't serialized, so you could get concurrent CSI calls. So CSI calls have actually timeouts. So when they time out, the CO might then want to recall the same function again, which could cause some issues. If you remember, we've added format options. So I believe that was Mohammed as well that added the format options to LVM. So now we've also added the same here on raw file, and I think we also did we do that on Mayastar? I can't remember. But it's good to keep these sort of common options throughout the different engines. I think that'll be good for the users. Also, a few extra options such as fin provisioning, reserved capacity, and things like that. The other big addition was the GA4 analytics. So now we can actually start tracking down raw file usage, which at the moment it's almost non-existing. But I think as we start suggesting folks to use this as a host path alternative, we might see some of these analytics getting in. I don't know. We'll see. Of course, it's also still possible for users to disable it. So, for example, if Canonical upgrades to the latest version, they might decide to disable it, and it's fair enough. Of course, it'd be better if whoever uses it keeps it enabled, so we can have an idea of how are they using it, how many nodes in the cluster, volume size being provisioned, etc. All of those insights are good. And we've also fixed a bunch of issues that we found, as well as refactoring some of the code itself, the build and the release. So we have now a release process for raw file. So there's a different file as well, Vishnu. If you click on docs release.md. Yeah, so now we have a release process where we describe, how does someone go and release a new version of raw file, and there's different steps that one would follow, and tick, not in the checked in code, of course, but check as their own checklist as they go through things to go and make a new release. So this was actually really helpful. So I did the last release, and it was good to have all this written down.
Okay.
Yeah. We also use now Mergify to merge PRs on this repo. We've been testing, and as Mohammed might tell you, it's not entirely glitch free. But yeah, I do like it. It makes merging sometimes very easy because even before the CI is complete, you can just queue it, and then you can go away, have a coffee, whatever, and it's gonna merge automatically once everything passes and it's approved. So I think we probably should consider using Mergify on the other projects that we have. Namely, on Mayastar, we use bars, for example, which has been deprecated now, and it's not maintained. So I think I'd recommend switching to Mergify at least try it on one repo, see if it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But if it does, I think it'll be a good addition, and it's gonna make a lot of things simpler. For example, backports of fixes, etc. It can handle that. So yeah, have a look at it and let me know what you think.
Sure, that's great. And
Yeah, so I think I've covered most things, and
okay.
Mohammed, yeah, let me know if I forgot anything or if you've got something to add. Please go ahead.
No, it was completely a full change like of what we have done. But yeah, the most part of changes were some refactors in the code to make the project more maintainable and easier to work with. You can see that code style is better and everything is more Pythonic now. For example, I have changed the CLI system, so a lot of magical parts of the code has been removed. So yeah, some Kubernetes client changed and things like that. And most of the parts was some refactors to make the code
that's right.
easier to work with.
That was an important one. The Kubernetes client change.
Okay, that version has been updated or something like that.
No, we used to use not the. We used to use a Kubernetes client library, which is not the official client library for Python.
For Python, okay.
Yeah. And the CLI changes that Mohammed have done as well, that makes it really nice now, and you can use it as a CLI rather than previously it wasn't very CLI. There was no help, there was no description of parameters. Yeah. And yeah, he's right. There was a lot of refactoring just to make, I think, that the project more easier to contribute, more easier to understand, and yeah, I think we're definitely going in the right direction.
Okay.
And I think we're at the point now that we start to hit some of the more difficult questions, such as, for example, how do we back up the data? Is there how could we take snapshots? Things like that.
Couple of questions. So how do you differentiate the fixed from the changed bucket here?
So fixed is bugs that were fixed. Changed could just be something you've changed, right? Like the default value of something could have been changed. You could change, the Kubernetes, like here, change to the official client library, or we changed the CLI to Pydantic. But those aren't bug fixes, right? They're just modifications.
Okay. Okay. So when you say bug fixes, like those bugs were found in the system in the GitHub?
They were bugs. So, for example, number one was missing components for the BTRFS snapshots on Kubernetes. Snapshots weren't working. Number two was another bug. Number three was a concurrency bug, updating the metadata, and so on. Some of them might be on GitHub, but sometimes you find a bug. If it's an easy fix, then you don't necessarily raise a GitHub issue. Just fix it.
Okay. Right. And the second question was, is there any plan for end-to-end testing, or how is the testing currently being done for this?
So we have smoke testing, which is it's Gherkin testing. So we've got a BDD feature file. So that's on the tests, and so the BDD are basically the smoke tests, and they're meant to be very quick check of have I done something wrong on my PR? Do the tests pass? It's meant to fail very fast, so we don't want to put a lot of tests, at least as part of the smoke. We could extend the BDD base, but the smoke should be quick. Then we have end-to-end tests, and these are basically testing the, so if you scroll up and then test.sha, for example. So this is actually using, and then if you scroll to the bottom, yeah. So this is just running the Kubernetes end-to-end tests for storage.
Oh, okay.
So we're just running the Kubernetes tests.
Kubernetes, is it for CSI? Driven CSI
Yes.
driver tests? Okay.
Yeah.
And what is this one? External dot storage?
That's to focus on, again, to try and make the fail fast. So the first set of tests, so the second set of tests is more like disruptive testing. So if you can see there, we're catching the disruptive.
Okay.
While on the first one, we're skipping the disruptive tests. So it's things like, you know, when the node goes down, when the kubelet gets restarted. Yeah, those take a little longer to run. And I think we probably want to split this even further. At the moment, I think they take 22 minutes to run. And the idea was to try and make that faster as possible, either by, you know, using different jobs on the GitHub Actions or something like that. But it's not too bad, 21 minutes.
Yeah. Good to know. All right. Okay, I will stop sharing my screen. Maybe we can just go through the table and see if anyone has anything to share or to talk about.
Yeah, so I do have something. So I'm gonna paste a link here because this is very important. So, oh, did I paste the correct link? Yes. So some of you might be aware, but Bitnami is making some changes. So they're adding this new concept of, you know, secure secure images, and then or security hardened images, something like that. And they're moving all their other images to a legacy repository. And they provided as a timeline. So from the 28th of August onwards, they will actually move those images to the legacy repo. And I don't think they will be doing any updates either. So it's still not exactly clear to me what does actually mean in practice. So for example, all the images they have, such as kubectl and etcd, well, are they not going to build those images at all? Are they not hosting them? I'm still not very clear on what their plan is here.
Yeah, on that issue, I see that they're saying you'd have to subscribe to a security plan with them, and then you could access those images. But you do have access to images which are tagged with the latest tag. That's for development. So if you're like contributing to development, you can pull the latest tag, but not the official tagged, for production tagged images. For that, you'd have to subscribe.
But I think they also mentioned that even on those ones, they're not going to generate secure images for everything. So I think that means some of them they might not even support them potentially. And if you have a look at their secure repository at the moment, it doesn't have a lot of images there. For example, there's no etcd.
That's right. Yes.
So what does that mean? Does that mean that eventually there won't be an etcd secure image, even if someone were to subscribe to this paid service? I'm not sure.
Yeah. There's this other bit that the legacy images are, they use Debian. The secure images won't use Debian. That's another bit of change that's coming our way, because all of the HCD charts they ship the Debian images by default, and that's what we have been
Yes.
using. So they do tag. There's another tag they push which does not have the Debian suffix. Not sure what that has, but we use the Debian one. Yeah, the Debian one is good.
Yeah,
That's
it's that CD one, I think.
yes.
Yeah, so this is a bit of a problem to us, I think, because it means existing installations out there in the wild that use any of these images. So I think it's only two that we use at the moment, right? It's the kubectl and etcd. So upgrades could potentially be affected because I think we use the kubectl. And then etcd, of course, Mayastar uses the etcd. So that means anyone running either OpenEBS umbrella or the Mayastar repo directly, if God forbid, one of their nodes reboots or whatever, and then the pod starts running again, and let's say they lost the etcd image, and it's gonna try and download it, and it's not gonna find it. So I think we need to think about how do we alert our users. I think we should alert them on Slack as soon as we have a plan of action. And perhaps we should just release a patch now, patch our last versions with a stable container image repository. And I think maybe what we should do is just, not just even for Bitnami, but maybe all our dependencies, we should just push those images to our own Docker Hub, just in case this happens again. I think it would be a lot safer if we just push all our dependencies, Docker images to our own Docker Hub.
Hey,
And then we're
Tiago,
going to be safe.
but this problem affects everybody, right? Like everybody.
Yes.
So it's not a unique problem to us. So there must be some well-known
No.
solutions.
Oh yeah, I mean the solution is if you hit this problem, you have to point to a different image. The problem is if you're not aware of it, and then it suddenly happens, then you might have some hiccups. And
you
yeah.
will, but you definitely are going to have a problem.
Yeah.
So it's just a messaging thing, right? So what are the other projects that are affected by this? How are they doing their messaging?
I haven't checked, and you're right. We should probably see what's their plan of attack for this. How are they alerting users?
Yeah, because we got to let them know
how
that
do they handle upgrades.
Yeah, they're going to have an initial problem, and then the solution is the new repo, right?
Yeah.
Or what do they call it?
Yeah, container repository or whatever.
Yeah, container. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is a bigger thing here going on. So Bitnami is changing their general maintenance theme and code of conduct here. So it's also likely that they completely discontinue certain images for free and they switch into a paid model. So it's not just a one-time thing, so there will be more happening all the time as Broadcom is now approaching that to get some more money out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so we also need a plan for that. If they don't publish new versions of etcd, for example, what do we do? I think we need some research. How are they building their etcd images versus, for example, the etcd images from etcd directly? And is that an option? Could we just switch to the etcd images?
Are there etcd? Okay, there is an etcd you can run on a Docker container, as in a standalone Docker run etcd. Is that what you're talking about? That one? Or does etcd build its own images, or do they just publish the binary?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm
They
pretty
seem to
sure
be
they have
not,
their own images.
but I think they seem to be not having their help charts at least. So if you go to the HCD's official homepage, they kind of link the help chart distribution back to Bitnami's.
Okay, so we have been talking about this other alternative also, the Enix operator. Again, we don't know how far they'll go towards maintaining that one, but that operator is a distribution method also.
But this also means that Bitnami is officially saying that there is no support for open source right now, in the sense we need to pay for any upgrades to the future versions of etcd. I think that's the end strategy from them.
Something I've noticed is that the Maya store is able to rely on the Kubernetes etcd itself. I know it could be a bad practice, but I want to know if we could use that as a data store. So an idea will be just make a job that migrates it to Kubernetes etcd itself, and then just when we install the new etcd deployment that we have, so it will migrate them back. I don't know if it's possible or not or something like that, but we could just
No, because we use the etcd API directly. We don't use the Kubernetes API. And you can't write directly to the etcd from Kubernetes because there's no guarantee that that data isn't going to be garbage collected. So if we are to use the Kubernetes etcd, then we need to change our API to use the our code to use the Kubernetes API. Yeah, maybe this is a reason for us to revisit this a little bit sooner, but I think we had raised the ticket somewhere for adding like a storage, a configuration proxy that would allow you to basically use whatever storage you want to use, either etcd directly or Kubernetes CRs or NATs, Kafka, anything. So maybe that gets a bigger priority, or maybe not, depending on whatever how much information we can gather on what's happening and what guarantees we have of image availability, or if we can just get the images from etcd directly.
Hey, so then
Yeah,
so
but
this
if we
happens,
could,
Tiago, this happens
yeah.
because this happens because we chose to have our own custom version of etcd, right? I remember when we did this.
Yes.
Yeah. And
But it won't just be for etcd. For kubectl, for example, we also use that image. So anything from Bitnami, basically, from now on, we're gonna have to start being really careful.
yeah, then we should move away from it. But my understanding is that Bitnami is a pretty well used service, right? So this is
Yes.
going to affect a lot of people.
Yes. Yes, correct.
I mean, those guys have been around for a long time, so there's a lot of projects that use that as their
so
repo.
Yeah.
a lot of open source projects also rely on those for the dependencies, and I feel like they are making it kind of inaccessible at the moment. Post August 20th, we have to see what will be the impact.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing to do is to figure out a strategy to let the user base know. Then, or maybe the first thing is to figure out a product strategy to figure out whether we want to migrate to the back to the standard, or have a like you said, a choice where users can deploy whatever storage layer they want, and then figure out a messaging for the user community so that there's no surprise, so that they know what's, or they can easily figure out and find the documentation that will explain to them what's going on when this happens and what the solution is. They're kind of the main things to do.
Yeah, I think first point should be we need to make a Bitnami, sorry, make a copy of those Bitnami images and put them somewhere, because that way we're at least covered. Because making changes to our deployment and to our use of etcd, that's a much larger change. So I think we should start with the basics. Let's cover ourselves in case those images go away, and then start planning for the future after that. And I would say, again, we should probably do this for all of our dependencies. Make sure that even if they go away, it will give us some more time to handle it by putting all those container images somewhere that we know isn't going away.
Does CNCF provide a repo for that solution?
Oh, Docker Hub, yeah, we have our own Docker Hub. So we can put all the images
that's
there.
Good. I mean, Docker Hub's pretty good, right? I mean, it's
You could also use GitHub. There's also a GHCR repo there, but probably the Docker Hub, I think, would be safer.
So my question is, do you know why we chose to use Bitnami for those two containers?
It's the Helm
two
charts.
entities?
It's not only the Docker of images, it's the Helm chart, right? So it doesn't have their own Helm chart, so Bitnami provided that.
Okay.
Yes. But I think the Helm chart isn't going away, right? It's just the Docker images.
I thought it's the Helm charts, right?
But how they make the Helm chart is that you can't use other images with the same Helm chart. You must use their own images with their Helm chart. That's the thing.
Yeah, they're kind of tied to each other, right? That would be silly to keep the Helm chart there, but make the Docker Hub, the location inaccessible.
It could be that they're getting rid of the Docker repository from public access, but if you leave the actual build, the build scripts and all in the repos and keep them open source, you could build the container image. For example, let's say if the Helm chart says bitnami/etcd as new, and that version is inaccessible. If you install that Helm chart, you can't pull that image. It says you require an image full secret. You need to log in. It says something like that. But if you have the build script, now I'm not sure if we can do this. If you on the Bitnami containers repo, maybe we could build the container ourselves and maintain it, given that we don't depend on the upstream Docker repository anymore, but we still have to maintain the build process from our end.
So
That's quite
we
unlikely.
could still, which means we could still use the Bitnami Helm charts, but the images should be from a different source, right?
Yeah, we would have to investigate. This is a
Okay.
yeah. If this is a possibility. If this window of use is left open.
I think so, because just as I'm reading this again, it's what you said, Niladri. So there, the latest tags, those are still going to be there.
Yes, but
So
that's
it's just the specific versions that they're not maintaining anymore.
Oh, so latest, no matter what, so latest will always be accessible.
Correct. It will
Not
always be
the
accessible.
historical.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, except we don't want to use latest, because latest today might not be the latest tomorrow. So we want to make sure that we pin a specific version. So yeah, I guess we'll have to see.
Yes, if latest is not a floating tag in the sense that latest is a tagged version, then that's quite good for us if we can keep up with the changes, which may not be very useful if we want to be stable on a set version. But if we have access to the build files, we could work through the build and prepare our own images if the repository is going off limits.
I think they're setting the Docker labels that mentions the version of the image. So I think we can automatically pull down latest tags, then retag them and push them somewhere else if we can. I don't know how the licensing goes, but we could just retag latest as their current specific version automatically by their labels.
Yes,
Yeah, that would be nice.
yeah, that would be
Yeah.
great if they leave that bit. Yeah, if we could do that, that would be great.
If you look at their that issue that Krepo has raised on the under the overview section, right? The third statement under community catalog that says Helm charts and container images open source code will continue to be maintained up to date and accessible under the Apache 2 license. So, what do they mean by container images open source code?
There's a repo called Bitnami/containers. That's where all of the containers from Bitnami are built. So that repo continues to be open source. That would mean that if they maintain the code base for the containers there, then we still have access. It's just not as straightforward. So yeah, we still get to keep access, but we might need to build. Otherwise, we would have to track the latest with, dates and stuff like that. We could do that also. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Anyone else?
Is there any status change on the incubation state? Or I remember last time there was Alex Cherkov was gonna get back to us with some info or something, or make some commentary. But did that ever happen?
No, it's not yet happened. I've been trying to follow up with him, so he seems pretty busy, I would say, with all the tag infrastructure exchanges. I think not sure. I'm yet to hear back from him.
Okay. Yeah. No surprise though.
Yeah, if there's nothing else, maybe we can end the meeting today. Sounds good to me.
I think so, yes.
Okay. Thanks everyone once again. Have a
Thanks,
good day.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Great discussion.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.